Hello, my name is Karina Ngai. I come from San Francisco, the Silicon Valley, where I've worked with many tech companies through the years on many different projects in different domains.
Hello, my name is Alexander Swords. I'm a writer and narrative designer in video games.
I'm Eamon Logue. I'm a product strategist. Got a background working in product for a very long time, moonlight as a game designer.
And then, of course, David is a very, from a theatrical play, performance, arts perspective, all coming together to share our knowledge. 4 very different designers from different disciplines coming together.
But it's a delicate subject matter, and we want to be sensitive to the differences in the audience and the experiences that everyone has gone through.
With the amazing talent that we have and the leadership of David in this incredible project, we'll be able to talk about this project in ways we've never had before. David will be able to speak to not just the surface level of his experience with the project, but also in an educated, validated way, how this, as an artistic experience, achieves things like personal growth, personal journeys, even community journey, as it is a project where people need to consider their place in community around death and dying. And then I finished off with something that we call the high concept formula, which is a way of understanding different people in interactive situations. So it basically helps us to understand, if we're designing an experience, whether it's technological or artistic, how to make sure that everything that they need is catered for in that experience. We're able to extend that further into what does the experience actually look like for them. So I use a process called narrative design pattern. It's basically where we understand sequence by sequence how the experience unfolds, and then what happens to those people. Not just what happens to the people, but also what they might want in particular instances as well.
What else can we offer these people? Do we need to hold a space for them to have a meaningful conversation? And if that's the case, what are these components that we're trying to insert?
Death is not something we are comfortable discussing in our world today. It is probably the most emotional subject that there is, and it is ultimately something that is difficult for us to think about.
I also feel like that's something very cultural as well. I think in the Western society, people tend not to talk about it too much. And in Asian country, it's just part of the norms, or we use it as rituals and a way of life, a way of living. And because of that, we're able to live better. What is it like when we look at people that can live that way? I think it's an important conversation to have.
The value of this is actually a safe, wonderful, almost ritual or event where people can come around together in a safe environment to contemplate something that we don't normally get to do.
Where this goes, but I feel this is going to be something that is ultimately transformative for the lucky individuals that are receptive to the message, so that in coming to terms with the way that they want to pass on from this world, the way that they live in the world can be improved. And I think that's one of the best things that we can do with this.
Well, this is not just a performance piece as I see it. It is not just a piece where you watch it and then it kind of goes away. I feel like this is a piece where it kind of evokes some feelings that you have about yourself, about the topic, about how you approach the subject. And because we're using a lot of the emerging technology in defining this new media space, what is the new audience experience in performance art? That to me is very exciting. It's not like we're using arts to highlight technology, but we're using technology and art to define something that is more human. That kind of serves a purpose. It's not just, a shiny screen or a virtual metaverse that we're creating so that you can play around it or, because it's the latest thing. And I think that's exciting.